Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so pumped you're here today because we are digging into a source that chronicles what has to be one of the most wildly unusual DIY projects I have ever come across. I mean, we are exploring the completely unprecedented journey of raising the world's very first pet bloodworms. It is an explainer just packed with bizarre biology, chaotic trial and error, and some truly jaw-dropping animal facts. So let's just get right into it.
Think about this for a second. What has 4 venomous fangs, copper teeth, and literally lives in your local bait shop? It kind of sounds like a riddle, right? Or maybe some sort of mythical beast. But no, the answer is the bloodworm. And what's just genuinely absurd here is that someone looked at this highly unsettling creature, a creature that absolutely commands serious caution, and thought, you know what, I'm going to keep that as a pet.
Section 1. Meet the monster.
So normally, bloodworms are strictly commercial fishing bait. Nobody, and I literally mean nobody, keeps these things as actual pets. But the goal here was totally unprecedented, to house them and document behaviors that people really haven't observed in a home aquarium before. And the project began with a pretty bold number, 12. Because, well, why start small, right? When the delivery truck pulled up, it wasn't dropping off just one pet. 12 of these unpredictable, highly venomous worms were destined to live together in a single tank. So basically, absolute chaos was guaranteed right from the starting line.
The sheer crazy reality of the bloodworm was fully on display the second one was pulled out with tweezers for a closer look. I kid you not, their mouth actually shoots outward from the body like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. It extends unbelievably fast, and sitting right at the very tip of that extended mouth are venomous fangs. In the wild, they use this terrifying lightning-fast mechanic to grab prey. It is absolutely every bit as unsettling as it sounds.
Section 2. Designing a bizarre habitat.
Obviously, you can't exactly stroll into a pet store and buy a bloodworm starter kit. This whole thing required a completely specialized, custom-built containment unit. And building it, well, it involves some incredibly relatable trial and error. The ultimate goal was a fully submerged tank imitating their natural habitat. But that first attempt at a substrate base, where aqua soil and dirt were mixed and water was poured directly on top, yeah, that immediately turned the whole setup into this murky, unusable sludge. Thankfully, a quick fix saved the day. Draining it, rinsing the dirt, and crucially, capping the whole thing with a thin layer of sand. After flooding it a second time, it yielded this absolutely beautiful, crystal-clear finish.
With the base finally clear, it was time for the decorations. The centerpiece was this stunning piece of petrified wood. If you don't know, that's fossilized wood formed over millions of years as organic material gets buried and slowly mineralizes into solid stone. But here's the absolute best part about this centerpiece. Before placing that ancient stone in the middle, a sneaky little experiment was set up. A literal sardine was tucked right underneath it. The idea was to test if bloodworms can actually smell out buried food and dig their way down to it. It's just a really brilliant bit of behavioral testing built straight into the architecture of the tank.
Now, the DIY energy here was honestly a little chaotic, but in the best way possible. A staggering amount of effort went into finishing both ends of the tank. On the right side, there was a custom 3-tiered plastic basket hideout, complete with cut openings, all coated entirely in rock-textured spray foam to mimic a natural cave. Serious money was dropped on expensive red aquatic plants, shipped overnight, just to nail the aesthetic. Deep red decorative crystals were scattered across the sand to match the classic bloodworm color scheme. And to top the whole shebang off, rocks that were literally marketed as elder and venom black boulders. Seriously, whoever comes up with the names for these rocks deserves a raise.
Section 3. The salty plot twist. Right when this beautifully curated, highly expensive tank was finally coming together, a massive realization completely upended the entire setup. So the tank had been filled with fresh water, right? Which was great. It was allowing those expensive red plants to absolutely thrive. But, plot twist, bloodworms live along ocean shorelines. They are saltwater creatures. This meant a massive, immediate pivot. Out went the fresh water and in went real ocean water that had been stored in the garage. This made the environment totally perfect for the worms, but unfortunately, it completely doomed those expensive freshwater plants.
0.02. That is the exact salinity level the tank hit after adding in the real ocean water. It landed right in the ideal range for the bloodworms to thrive. And to help manage this brand new saltwater ecosystem, a handful of nerate snails got drafted from another tank to act as an algae cleanup crew. The hope was that their hard shells would offer at least a little bit of necessary protection from the venomous new residents they were rooming with.
Since those freshwater plants were dying anyway, why not just lean entirely into the horror aesthetic, right? A red aquarium light was added to give the whole tank this eerie, blood-tinted glow. A few fake blood splatters were painted right onto the glass, and a custom AI-edited warning sign was slapped on that simply read, "Beware of worm." It was honestly the perfect, humorous finishing touch to a deeply unsettling habitat.
Section 4. The Great Taste Test.
So, the tank is ready, the worms are in, and they immediately tunnel down into the sand, adopting their natural hidden behaviors. But that leaves a huge question. What exactly does a tank full of venomous, chaotic bloodworms actually eat? Well, they started with standard floating fish pellets. One worm actually flared its fangs as a hunger signal, but showed a hard zero interest in actually eating it. Next up, salmon, a natural saltwater neighbor, ignored completely. But after letting them settle undisturbed for a few hours, just to reduce their stress levels, a piece of beef changed the whole game. They clamped down on it instantly, drawing juices right out of the meat. And when shrimp was offered, an immediate bite. They fed for close to an hour and left visible, venomous bite marks behind.
Section 5. Copper fangs and carnivores.
During those wildly successful beef and shrimp feeds, it was finally possible to get a close-up look at the bloodworm's astonishing anatomy in action. And I'm telling you, the biology here is a true scientific marvel. When the worm extends its mouth, those fangs are revealed to be made of actual metallic copper. The bloodworm is the only known animal on the planet with copper-based teeth. That is literally mind-blowing. It makes watching them latch onto that piece of beef not just super satisfying after all the failed attempts, but profoundly fascinating from a scientific standpoint. 4 metallic copper venom-loaded fangs sitting right at the tip of a mouth that shoots out like an alien. When they latched onto the food, they simply did not want to let go, no matter how much they were shaken around. The physical bite marks they left on the shrimp are this really stark reminder that there is real venom involved in that grip. This is a creature that absolutely, without a doubt, commands respect.
Now, of course, you gotta show this bizarre setup to your mom for a reaction, right? Her first read perfectly summed it up. She said it looked like a cross between a slug, a leech, and a snake. And when she actually saw the extending mouths and the copper fangs, yeah, the disgust escalated really fast. It easily ranks as one of the most unsettling, disgusting DIY pet experiments ever attempted, and it is incredibly easy to see why these guys are normally strictly kept out of sight as fishing bait.
So think about this. If simple fishing bait, something just sitting in a plastic tub at your local marina right now, hides real venom, alien-like mechanics, and metallic copper teeth, what else is out there hiding in plain sight? Nature is just incredibly complex and frankly bizarre. Thank you all so much for joining me for this explainer today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe. Oh, and for everyone who keeps asking in the comments, yes, Chad the dog is a very good boy. See you next time.